welcome, my Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your timeless work, career, vocation reading. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive president of DrawingTheCircle Productions. Since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. Available on Kindle. Link in the description box on patreon.com. Patreon.com/drawingthecircle. Having a lot of fun over there. Why? Because I'm the Archangel of the Lions, Mark Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal. Hi. Let's get down to biz. If you're new to my channel, a work, career, vocation read is called a 3-level of power. Reading, a different way of looking at your life purpose through how you survive, your creative energy, and your spiritual calling. We'll get to all of that. There are chakras involved. There are only 12 cards in this spread, and they weren't always timeless reads, but they are now. So you want to go back and look, because we're dealing with archetypes. We'll get there. You'll see what I mean. So it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Standard YouTube reading rules apply. And check your other signs, because I do find each reading, one of the 3 levels, has what I would call a leverage point, right? Work on that one. It'll affect the other 2 more directly. But certainly your sun sign might be more focused on work, where your moon sign might be more about your career. We'll talk about it. And your vocation is a whole other story. So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can, doing this 3 levels of power, work, career, vocation thing. And there is a link in the description box by Carolyn Myss, M-Y-S-S. This is her archetype deck. A lecture, I think it's like part 1 of 3 videos, talking about the 3 levels of power. And this is just one area of life that you can apply it to. Been doing this for clients for decades, so glad to do it here for you. All right, enough. Both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I am. Let's see what hits the table. Here we go. Breathe. Be here now, right? Grounded, centered. Here we go. As I call to the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of life purpose through work, career, vocation, and the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. Please, I need 3 Caroline Myss archetype cards to represent the 8th chakra of the work, of the career, and of the vocation, respectively, of the Scorpio collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video. Receiving this reading, please leave the cards in my hand. First for their work, right? How they survive in the world, their survival intuition. In their career, right? That internal stuff, their passion, their hunger, their thirst, what they yearn for, what they burn for, their creative intuition. I felt that. Please leave that card in my hand for the Scorpios careersies. And for their vocation, their spiritual calling, their mystical power, what calls them forward, the star that guides them if they're tuned to it, please, in their vocation for the Scorpio and this timeless WCV read. Let's see. Now these are in the title, so let's see how brave you are. Well, let's talk a masculine masculine family archetype spread. All 3 of these are masculine family archetype. That is rare. I don't think that's ever happened where we've had it across the board. There are 9 different families. So this is definitely about you doing something in the world with your masculine energy, and it has nothing to do with bodily gender. You've got the knight archetype in your work. You've got the god in your career, which is great, big, huge. And you've got the prince in your vocation. Now, you can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. This affects the electromagnetics of what you attract and repel, so that you can bring your work, career, vocation into alignment. Just like bringing your chakras into alignment, it's all the same thing. But this is cool. I really dig this. I have a relationship with the God and the Prince archetype. Prince, I am lifelong. I'm a prince in my family since birth, so to speak, archetypally speaking. But that God archetype is really huge to me. So let's do these. Carolyn Myss has on here the shadow and the light, showing you the lead to gold. What it is you're really learning from an 8th chakra point of view. In your work, right? How you survive in the world. The shadow attribute, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. Now, the romantic part of it may or may not be the case, because we're talking about work in the world, how you survive, how you pay the bills, that kind of stuff. But allegiance to a destructive ruler, like that could be a CEO, right? That could be anybody. So you're not at the head of this. This team, maybe this corporation here as the knight, but a knight does serve a king. The light attribute, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Now again, the romance thing, if office relationships, we'll see what else hits the table. This is just the first 3 out of 12. But definitely there is something demonstrative here, meaning demonstrative, right? The knight. So your honor is really, really key here. Your love of honor, right? To be a bright knight, so to speak, instead of a dark knight, which I like, but whatever. All right, here in your career, the God archetype, the shadow attribute, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Been there, done that. It was called the 80s. It's something, everybody has the shadow to alchemize into light, to toxic to healthy, pain to peace, regardless of what archetype we're dealing with. The light attribute, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And I think for, considering this is internal, feminine energy, heart, third eye crown, we'll get there, then this really is more than just thinking about us all being one, experiencing that. The word recognize, right? Break it apart, recognize. To cognize means to wrap your mind around it, essentially mentally digest it at least. But there is also emotional and intuitive recognition here. So to experience the eternal there, this is a very, very powerful thing. But again, not a divine family archetype. That's another family, a masculine family archetype. So your creativity here, benevolence and compassion. And if you pair that in the physical world with loyalty, chivalry, and a love of honor, this is good. But let's talk about the prince, because he is funky. When it comes to funk, he is a junkie. The shadow attribute. Now this is in your calling. This is the star that guides you, so to speak, your spirit power, your mystical power. Using power for self-aggrandizement, it's essentially falsely puffing yourself up. It's grandiosity instead of grandeur. Grandiosity is of the ego, grandeur is of the soul. The soul ain't got nothing to prove, it just is, right? The light attribute, romantic charm and potential for power. So we've got romance twice here. Now, if we take that out of the, the usual framework, and we put that in terms of really being in love with what you do, then we're looking at an interesting interplay between your spiritual calling and your work in the world. But I also have to say, how many artists in their career, work day jobs or whatever, to do what they got to do. So how you make your money, like I don't make my money through my work. That's as a president and a producer. It's a lot of work I don't get paid for, scheduling and editing and all of that, lights, camera, action, satisfaction. I make it in my career as a teacher and a reader, and that's my passion, right? And all that jazz. All right, digging this for you. Let's get our next 3 cards down. Daughters of the Moon. This will be your internal experience of work, career, vocation. Daughters of the Moon is the feminist deck. So for me, that's the goddess energy, the internal, the yin-ternal. Really, if you think about it, your heart, third eye, and crown is the world behind your eyes, right? So let's just see what hits the table. Breathe. As I call upon my goddesses of water, the sign of Scorpio powers of the West. Going to give us a nice, good shuffle here, please. 3 cards in clarity for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, watching this video, receiving this reading. Nice, deep, and clear. Please clarify. We've got the Knight archetype in their work. What's going on behind that, or I should say under that? Heart, third eye, crown. All right, the Taurus card. Now, when it's heart, third eye, crown, even though it's a court card, we'll talk about it once I get the 3 of them down, but that's something inside of you. Yes, it might be dealing with someone of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, whoever, whatever, but we're talking about second house dynamic there. So the Mother of Pentacles, the Great Corn Mother, that would be the Queen of Pentacles, the Taurus card, life values. We'll get back to that. Well, and honor, you know, the love of honor. You might be being tested on your honor code as a knight. Okay, so the God archetype, please, my goddesses, in their vocation. Now, chances are despots are probably not coming to my channel, cruel people, but we all have our moments. We have to feel it to heal it, but that doesn't mean we burn down the planet, let alone the village. Don't burn down the planet! So with that creative energy there, that benevolence, that enlightenment, that recognition of the eternal force within all of life, not just humans, all of life. What do you got for them on the inner? Well, the card of the world, the universe, Shakti, the life dancer. Now, I do recommend you do an internet search on the name Shakti. Yes, it's a Sanskrit. It's a goddess. It's an energy. It's a lot. It's a lot. Because this is going to give you, just kind of looking at the many different ways that name and that word has been interpreted, you're going to get much more insight into this, but to say it is the completing of a cycle. That place in between today and tomorrow, that split second, the finishing of a cycle here, and it's Major Arcana card. So you really have completed something on the inside, no question about that. It is the end of a cycle, but Major Arcana cards are places symbolically that we go through. It's not like a 24-hour thing usually. Well, the Tower can be, obviously. There are certain cards in terms of timing that interplay with each other. He's crossing his solar plexus. But what I kind of get on this is a real sense of completion. Like whatever it is that you've gone through, maybe you dealt with a tyrant, someone who was despotic, who controlled people, and maybe some of that wisdom is in you, that you served them, and now as a result, you've developed that gold, that benevolence, that understanding, that compassion, I think is really key there. I think you might be at the end of a contract. Well, maybe in the physical world, but definitely inside of you, you've learned something here. So let's look at this Prince. My goddesses, please, the Prince archetype in their calling, and I can relate to that. I love the Prince archetype. Even dark princes are fun, usually, until they reveal who they really are, or you find out who they really are. What's going on? We're talking about Scorpios here, so please, what's going on for them there? Heart, third eye, crown. Prince in the 8th. You've got the Gemini card, the Maiden of Blades, Hina, that is the Knight of Swords. So, with 2 court cards framing this, bookending this, so to speak, with a Major Arcana, you've got, in my opinion, elemental opposites, not astrological opposites, elemental. You've got fixed earth and mutable air. There's nothing more fixed than Taurus. You have cardinal, fixed, and mutable for each element. 3 conditions, 4 elements, 12 signs of the zodiac. So mutable air, always changing, and Taurus, no. But what you've got here in the center here seems to say that you have learned something, you have completed something inside of you with your own compassion and benevolence here to then put this into physical form. Now, we've got second house and third house. These two follow each other in the zodiac, right? Aries, Taurus, Gemini. So second house is really important here about you finding, when it's earth on the inner, it's about wisdom, stuff you've experienced that you're carrying with you in the internal for weal or woe, right? Either helps and supports or it doesn't. But I get really, really strong here, like fertile earth, right? The corn mother, that there is a focus on life values, fixed earth, things that you valued your whole life. And it's not always about money, but here it certainly could be. But honor, honesty, integrity, right? Think of the night, the shining night. And then to have this here in the Prince, there's all sorts of third house Gemini, lots of thoughts going around, collecting information, but it's of a higher nature when it's in this. So there might be a lot of ideas, probably having to do a lot of this, but wait, but then there's that. But what about back and forth, back and forth? But Gemini, third house, is about self-expression. You might really be finding a way how to nuance, how to romance what you're getting. You may very well be getting downloads and having the charm to pull it off. Like I said, I have the Prince archetype lifelong. You can have a reason, a season, or a lifetime. A lifetime I have the Prince. It is my dominant masculine family archetype in my chart. And I am Prince Charming. I'm charming as fuck. But it mostly works on women and I'm gay. Well, it's probably for everybody's benefit, right? Right. Yeah. All right, let's see what this looks like on the outer. Lower 3 chakras. The mythic tarot. Now, lower 3 chakras, it's either you from the outside looking in at yourself, you from the inside looking out at something in the physical world, in your work, career, vocation. Sometimes it's holographic. It's both of those things. But regardless, the lower 3 chakras here are about relationships. Your root chakra is your groups, your tribes, your circles of friends, your nationality, your favorite band, you know, whatever you feel like you're a part of in that way. Second chakra is money, sex, and power, but umbilical relationship, your relationship with other people. And I'm wondering if with this Taurus energy inside of you, if another court card shows up. As well as in your solar plexus, that's your relationship to yourself. Your honor code, your boundaries, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, your self-esteem as verb. So that seems highlighted there. So let's get these on the table. This feels really good though. I think you've learned a lot. You just may not be aware of how much your loyalty structure is really key right now. And sometimes it's about being loyal to your calling, not to other people. Breathe. Oh, that was a shift. Okay. All right, as I call upon my gods of water, the sign of Scorpio, powers of the West, please. 3 cards in clarity from the mythic tarot. Please clarify this, make this as specific as possible for the Scorpio collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading. In their work, they've got the Knight archetype. In the 8th chakra, they've got that second house, Taurus. Very fertile though, like a lot of creativity in there, a lot of wisdom in there, lifelong. They may not see it, but it's in there. From the outside looking in, please. Inside looking out, lower 3 chakras, the star. This is about you being honorable with yourself and following your star, your guidance, your grace. Yeah, sure, it's about hope. But to me, it is the highest vibrational spiritual card in the major arcana. Moon, Sun, the star is way, way, way higher if you want to look at it that way in terms of altitude, intergalactic altitude. Yeah, no, this is your inspiration, your hope, what you're hoping for, what you're wishing for, your wish fulfillment. But your honor code is just absolutely essential, and you've been through so much. I really feel like if you were in service to something toxic, and again, it could be a person, a company, it could be anything, to really, really be clear about what you need to do here. And of course, in your career with that compassion and the closing of a cycle, big time, this should be interesting. Breathe. Yeah, my gods, please. The God archetype in their career in the 8th chakra, heart, their 3rd eye crown, Shakti, the life dancer. I really hope they look that up. They're going to get way more insight into that than I can give them here. So please, lower 3 chakras, what's going on for them in their career, right? Their hunger, their passion, their thirst, what they yearn for, what they burn for, their creative intuition. lower 3 chakra dynamic. And we've got the Two of Wands, the Crossroads card. Jason of Jason and the Argonaut standing outside the cave of Chiron, the centaur, deciding at a crossroads, well, if I go in that cave, I'm going to be handed a quest to retrieve the golden fleece. He doesn't know that just yet, but he will. But he will. So in your career, of course, why wouldn't you? You're at the end of something on the inner. There's this completion, and now you got to really look at what your choices are. Now, to me, there's a difference between a choice and a decision. Choice, it's like eau de toilette. Decision is perfume. Levels of power, right? Life-changing decision or a choice, but nonetheless, with the world inside of it, the universe backing that up from the inside, you got a lot to consider there. And with that God archetype, be very, very careful of controlling and manipulating people or being controlled and manipulated about this, because I feel like this is your leverage, right? Like if you want to talk about, leverage in one of the three, although to say that in the world, in the physical world, to be really, really honorable and keep your second house life values aware and follow your star is pretty cool too. All right, let's go. My gods, in their calling, in their vocation, the Prince in the 8th, Gemini, Knight of Swords, right? The Maiden of Blades on the inner. Self-expression, probably lots of ideas going on. I don't know if this is all coming out their throat chakra yet, but what's going on? Lower 3 chakras here for the Scorpio collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Watching this video, receiving this reading, please leave the card in my hand. And 3 of Wands. So the star, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands. In terms of action on this, there doesn't seem to be. You do have 2 major arcana cards. Granted, one of them is the star on the outer here. I think you're being pulled forward, but that you don't have all the information yet. Interesting, we go from the 2 of Wands, Jason saying, I don't know, until he finally says, yeah, I'll do it. And others pledge loyalty to him. Zeus says, go get that golden fleece. He says, I don't know. I don't want to. Okay. Makes the decision. And certainly, with that Gemini card, wait before you talk about this stuff. I think that would be helpful. Right? Don't hand your bubble to bubble poppers. And your Scorpios, come on, you guys are all about hidden information. So, but you could do it in a charming way. You could do it in an honorable way. Just say, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. You'll know when I know. Yeah. Last 3 cards down. The only book read for the Work, Career, Vocation series, the Matcon Healing Mantra Deck. Now, there are a couple of different ways to use these. Yes, I'm going to read them from the book. But you can play with the names, the titles of the mantras, as well as the mantras themselves, and put them together in paragraphs. And they actually become rather powerful, like Lego blocks sometimes. Bricks, blocks, whatever. Please take a nice deep breath. Call upon the ascended masters of life, purpose through work, career, and vocation, please. Let's get them face down. Oh, well, there are no face downs. One side's the name of the mantra, the other's the mantra, but with my eyes closed. Work, career, vocation here for the Scorpio collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Watching this video, receiving this reading. In their work, they've got the Knight archetype with Taurus on the inner, the star on the outer, their mantra. In their career, they've got the God archetype in the 8th with the universe, the world, Shakti, the life dancer on the inner, 2 of flames on the outer. There we go. And for their vocation, they've got the Prince archetype in the 8th, Gemini energy on the inner, 3 of flames on the outer. Let's see what they got. Celebrating simplicity, grounding my energy, and creating cooperation. Work, career, vocation. And by the way, you read them the other way they work too. Creating cooperation, grounding my energy, and celebrating simplicity, right? But then you read the mantra side of it. You go this way. I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. It is safe to be in my body. More gets accomplished when everyone has a role to play. Reverse it. More gets accomplished when everyone has a role to play. It is safe to be in my body, and I'm more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain, and you can mix and match. This is why I check your other signs. You get a whole page full of them. And repeaters, I would think. So, let's bookie book this. The Knight in your work, remember this is your physical expression. All of these are masculine family archetype. So, this definitely I feel like this is where the challenge is. It's getting these other two in alignment. Celebrating simplicity. I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain, which is just the truth. When there are fewer details to manage, you're able to receive more joy. The more commitments that pile up in your life, the less likely you are to find the time to take everything in. And ain't it the truth, particularly if you're self-employed. Once all moving parts have been arranged in a proper working balance, simplicity can be created, and you can glean the most benefit from your reality. So there are some practical things here that you can do in the physical world. Really turn to your inner wisdom. Like what just came to my mind, like what I do every day. Like suddenly there's a new piece of technology that makes what I do simpler, right? An upgrade to the video editing software. I'm like, oh wow, I could do that now. That's so much easier. Like even being on Patreon, they're changing things up there, making it better for creators. So it's like, oh, that makes it so much simpler, right? I can categorize all the videos and all of the MP3s and the ebooks like in different categories. So it's really easy to celebrate here, but don't forget that honorable part. This mantra is ideal. Oh, sorry, wrong side. This mantra is ideal for creating stronger boundaries. Your boundaries, solar plexus, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't. Healing your inner people pleaser. Allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, and finding moments of serenity. Serenity now. Say that. All right, that makes sense. That clicks. Let's look at grounding my energy. I love this one. Well, I would. I'm an earth sign. Grounding my energy. It is safe to be in my body. It's about being here and now. When your energy is grounded, you're no longer wrestling with the pain of the past. You're chasing after potential future outcomes. You dare to demonstrate your very best attributes and qualities, no matter how you are perceived or received by others. Even if that means I am standing in my indecision, I'm standing at this crossroads, and this is where I am, and it's safe to be in my body. No need to rush. I am a fixed sign. You are a fixed sign. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Scorpio. With your energy grounded, your mind can relax as your body becomes a more enjoyable environment to inhabit. And really, with that card of the world, the universe on the inner, you've earned this. It's always a graduation. Yes, the ending of a cycle, but an ending of the fool's journey to start again at the Fool, right? And whoop, around you go again. This mantra is ideal for replacing compulsive thoughts. You can see that. Releasing addictive behavior and finding stability. Really good. Grounding your energy. It is safe to be in my body, so I can do this. I am where I am. Let me feel what I'm feeling. I'm going to listen to my intuition, but I'm going to be here now instead of regretting the past or anticipating the future. And all anticipation is you trying to avoid pain and suffering, which is wired into us, but that doesn't necessarily mean you won't compromise your integrity if you do that. See, it clicks together. Let's do your vocation here. Prince in the 8th, Gemini on the inner, 3 of Wands on the outer, creating cooperation. More gets accomplished when there is less, more gets accomplished when everyone has a role to play. Now I want to say, for some of you working with spirit guides and higher powers, angels, archangels, all that in the side of fries, this could be part of that because it is this level of power. When cooperation is created, The unity of all is access to accomplish more in one moment than any one person can do alone. And they're sort of highlighting the unity of all, not just the people. Look at all the people and all the people, right? Just chorus lined us. That all, the unity of all, right? You're Scorpio, it's mystical power. As creator of cooperation, you're giving others the right to contribute, which only broadens the effect of collective expression. And expression, self-expression, third house, right? Gemini, in your vocation here, your third level of power. Once cooperation is created, all facades of competition melt away, allowing each individual to feel renewed depth of self-worth by serving a vision greater than any degree of individual gain. I don't know. Sounds like a vocation to me. And by the way, the prince is a ruler of what's called the principalities, and they still exist. Principalities. I think they're even used in the United States instead of like town or village. It's the principality of, or I don't know. I am not the geographer. I am witch. This mantra is ideal for enhancing teamwork, transforming family dynamics, so that's where you learn it from, and increasing inner peace. Creating cooperation, grounding your energy, and celebrating simplicity. None of this feels incredibly active right this second, except I'm going to say that you start celebrating the simplicity, right? Less to manage and maintain. Follow your star, but don't sacrifice your honor code. Womp, 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 womp. At the end of every reading, I like to give a blessing with what's here on the table. I ask the pantheons of the divine to do it through me, because I never know what's going to come out of my mouth when I do this until it does. So, please take a nice deep breath. As once again I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for the Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading. May they be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, vocation, allowing them to bring chakras and these levels of power into congruence, that in their work they embrace their loyalty, their romance and chivalry with a love of honor, with their life values, Taurus energy, second house dynamic going on the inner, and tuning themselves to the star on the outside, tuning, following, raising themselves up in vibration, celebrating simplicity as they do, because they're more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. And in their careers, that they embrace the benevolence and compassion within them, recognizing the eternal force within themselves and others as they have this graduation of the world, the universe inside of them, this completion of a cycle, maybe even a big part of a spiritual awakening or a vision that has them at a crossroads. And why wouldn't it be? But it seems like a temporary minor arcana, not great big huge I'm moving to Guam situation. So certainly for them to ground their energy, because it is safe to be in their bodies, so they can be in the here and now and really feel and heal and hear the guidance and grace coming to them, particularly what might be coming from them in their vocation. With their romantic charm and potential for power, with ideas and thoughts and new ways of looking things, preparing them for self-expression and maybe waiting a bit to pull that trigger to say what they say. But there is a loyalty here. Threes are about an initial foundation, so the desire is building, but it's coming down into form gradually, but for them to create cooperation in the physical and in the non-physical, because more gets accomplished when everyone has a role to play. So may they play their roles, and may they play well with others. The Scorpio collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, that they may heal, grow, prosper, experience the very best this world has to do as they bring themselves, that they have to do in this world with all this masculine archetype energy on the table, to manifest their best for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So motivating. And so it is. It's a powerful read, guys. And I wouldn't say there's a womp womp card in it, which is wonderful. That's what happens when you do readings during a waxing moon, I guess. So thank you so much for watching. Really my pleasure to read for you. If you want more of me on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and I would recommend the notification bell, because I'm putting these out as soon as they're done. Why? Because my main focus is on Patreon. Come Patreon on Patreon. I'm putting out stuff every day there, and all of the levels of my subscribers get good stuff. And certainly if you want to book a reading with me, booking a reading with Mal, it's a YouTube video. There's a link in the description box. But otherwise, seriously, I love my Scorpios. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed in your work, career, vocation. You bring it into alignment for the well-being of all. Hail. Farewell. And blessed, blessed be.